As people who love vintage paper and books, it is always my goal to reimagine things that have been discarded. Today, we'll be making a journal from a very broken and tattered Victorian photo album that has seen better days. I hope you'll enjoy. Hi friends, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. I really appreciate you being here. Today I am going to be making a project with these amazing stickers that I have been gifted. The nice people at Grabie reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in using some of their curated sticker collections in a project. And I said I would absolutely love that. So they sent me this little package. Oh, well, first they told me I could choose the curated collection that I would like to work with, and I picked Old Time Garden. They sent me this package, and inside were these stickers that were all curated together from them. I'm going to open them on camera, and then I'm going to make a really interesting project with them. But it's very hard because they're in plastic and there's a lot of reflection. I want to be able to remove them, and I want to, sort of pick my pieces, but I wanted to at least show them to you in the packages before I take them out. So this is called Old Time Garden. They have a selection of wonderful botanical and natural stickers that are all curated and similar yet different. I really like translucent stickers. I think that they add a whole dimension to my work. And this is all framed butterflies. So I wanted to show you the type of images that come in their packages. They're gorgeous details and colors, a big variety, beautiful for specimen cards, and so many different projects. I'm really excited to work with these. This is mushrooms, which you know I'm going to love. And there's a whole variety of colors and sizes and really, really nice images, browns, deep reds, some yellows. Really, really good little collection. Very generous, the amount that's inside of there. Really, really nice. This is feathers, which I thought was a really interesting collection because I'm not always that good at finding them in the wild, and sometimes when I do find them, they get like matted together or they get kind of ruffled up, and these are like more of a watercolor. Really, really nice. Oh, I could really see these being used in so many different ways. So these are the feathers. Again, this is all one collection that I'm showing you. The feathers, the butterflies in the frames. I didn't choose these individual packages. These are curated together in the Old Time Garden set. There's ferns, which I am a sucker for ferns. And there are tons and tons. And look at how realistic they are. Some of them aren't even like perfect ferns, right? Like it's kind of like what you would find in nature. That is actually not a fern. That looks a little bit more like a branch of an evergreen tree. This is a fern. So lots and lots of tiny fine details in the ferns, and I guess it would be more of a greenery package because some of these I recognize as branches. So really nice. This is like it looks like it's sort of like berries set, like things that you would find out in nature. Like those might be blueberries, and here are some red berries. It looks like there's just some, like, it almost looks like herbs and wildflowers. Really fine details, like something I could never fussy cut, which really is beautiful for layering. This one's, I think, like thyme. Definitely these are herbs and berries and very delicate, natural. Look at that. I love that in the fall. The bittersweet. Really, really nice details and colors. So we'll put that pile there. And last of the 6 piles, 6 came in the set, which is really terrific because you get just a little bit of everything. And this was just one theme. There are lots of themes on their website if you want to go see what their other curated sets are. These are like pressed flowers, which I do press my own flowers, but some of these are just the perfect size and color for, you know, just the right page. I think these are terrific. I love the colors. Look at this little pressed rose, because roses are hard to press, and that's like a really great detail, and it's so small. Oh, that's really sweet. Look at the yellows. Really great pressed details. Like that really does look like a pressed flower, as does that. I'm really impressed with the amount of details in them. Let's look at what this is. This is like some red and some purple. So all of these 6 packages came in one set, again called the Old Time Garden. I am going to put the link below, and there'll be a promo code for you for a discount if you'd like, and you can check out what their different curated sets are. So I am now going to start picking these, and we'll get into the project. So I have this idea, and I don't know if it'll work, but as with most of my projects, I just start with the idea and then try to flesh it out on camera. I come across old photo albums from the Victorian time quite often, and a lot of times they're in very poor shape. I actually have a friend who's a dealer, an antique paper dealer, and as hard as this is to hear, he buys big albums full of photographs, and then he rips them, literally rips them out of the photo album, and then he sells them that way in lots because it's cheaper to mail, and people don't want to spend the money on the big album. They feel that the album is worthless. So sometimes he will save these little chunks of albums for me and then tell me I can have them and I can work with them, which is wonderful. So as you can see, this is an album probably, let me pull you out just a little bit. This is an album from probably the late 1800s, maybe like 1880. And it has seen better years. It's got this beautiful, beautiful back paper. This was not the cover. This was the inside paper, and the cover was there. And then this was probably glued to this paper. In fact, I know it was because I can see where the adhesive was, and you can see the shading from where the picture was. So that was actually there, but he probably separated it, sliced it so he could get this photo out. And then you can see that there's some really damaged, cracked, old, you know, in where the pictures used to be, they're inserts, but they're great shapes. And I think that this would make a really cool journal. And you know those very 3D books you see that people like glue the pages together, they put an image on the back, and then they put different items, fussy cut items out and make a 3D like diorama? I think we can do this, and I think these stickers will be perfect because the edges are so defined and clear. They're, you know, kind of strong because they're, you know, stickers. They're this plastic material. And I think it's just going to be perfect. And there'll be that transparency between the layers. So a friend of mine, Dodges and Daisies, in her shop, she has a digital that has these like woodland nymphs. And I really like this since this is all woodland. And my idea is to make a journal where this would be in the back image. There's some really funky lighting today. Apologize for that, but it is a dark, rainy day, and I'm using auxiliary lighting. So I can put her in the back, And then what I think I can do is I can layer these different elements on each page. I can probably put them in between, repair some of this work, and make each page a beautiful collageable journal page in its own right. But then when it's all together, it will make a scene. I also am not 100% sure whether or not I want to put any kind of plastic lucite in front of it. That I'm going to hold off to the end. I don't think I will put like plastic on each page because I think it will reflect too much when it's all shut. I think I want to see the depth, but I may put it on the front page just to protect the all the pieces inside. And rather, I originally thought maybe I would glue the pages together and just make this a nice diorama I could hang on the wall, which I certainly could, but I like the idea of being able to use this space to journal once this is done. So I think I am going to just start and see where this goes. So I printed 2 of the pictures off bigger, and I've decided just to add some light color to them. Some pink on their cheeks. I'm using just some of these woody pencils, these stubby pencils. They're called Furby. They're from Germany. I got them as a gift. I'm not going to use like something like a Tim Holtz product because this is not water soluble paper. This is printed off of my Inco tank, and I think it would just sort of destroy the paper. So I'm just putting some light highlights on her skin. I think I might even put a little bit of yellow. Not sure which girl I'm using yet, or which fairy. I'm just trying to add just a little bit of light and color to sort of make them just a tad bit more magical. It's very, very subtle. Just a little bit of yellow on her wings, like that, just a hair. I don't know if you can see, but it's just very subtle. Okay, so I think I am going to use her, so I'm going to cut her out, make sure that she's going to fit. And she will. I don't think I should glue it down until I'm 100% sure of everything I'm doing. But I am going to tape her down so she doesn't move. From this point on, I'll be doing a voiceover because, truth be told, I took my time on this project and it took me a couple afternoons, which is a lot of taping. So let's just go over the highlights. I took a lot of really basic, plain, neutral papers to do my collage work with. Then I chose all of the stickers that I thought told the story of this journal. And what I found out is I was really gravitating towards fall colors. So this is really going to be sort of a fall, nymph, woodland kind of celebration journal, really like tapping into that aesthetic. So I'm going to add some additional oranges and reds to my fairy, just so that she represents the colors of the fall. And then I'm going to start doing some real simple collage work. I don't want to cover everything up on the right-hand pages because I really want the fairy to shine, and I want the stickers to take, a really big, they're kind of the hero here as far as me being able to make this tunnel book come alive. So I don't want too many things competing. So I'm going to do some really simple collage work. Now, I am reviewing the product in this video, and I'm going to be very honest because as viewers, I don't want you to believe just because somebody gifts something to me, I'm going to tell you I love it. These stickers are really beautiful, and I really loved working with them, but they are difficult to get off of their paper. So I would recommend if you get these stickers, that you get a weeding tool or a needle tool to help you with that. There's a learning curve. It's just a learning curve. I got better as I went along, but definitely there is a learning curve. So now that I know what I'm doing, I am pasting down the picture, and I want to make sure that she was centered in where I want to see her. And now I'm going to start building my layers of stickers all around her, framing the image and trying to, make each layer a little bit magical, where it could stand on its own artistically, but working together, it'll really build depth. So I'm going to stick another sticker on here. This is the back page, and I'm going to work on the page above, and I'm just adding some little details like a little doily, and you can see the butterfly frame from the sticker pack above, and I'm going to add some berries because again I want to tap into that whole woodland feel. And I'm going to ink up my doilies so they don't look quite as fresh and new and white. And again, I'm starting to learn how to use the stickers, which is to take the needle tool and to grab the top layer right on the edge and then pull. For the most part, as I worked, they got easier to work with. But there is a learning curve, and I do want you to be prepared for that. I don't think kids could easily work with these stickers. But as paper crafters, you'll find a way to make it work. And some were certainly easier than others were. And as you can see, this isn't really too bad. I just let it slip, and I'll be able to place the butterfly right here. I really love translucent stickers because the layers that you're able to build are so nice. And yeah, stickers have a little bit of a shine on them, but that didn't bother me too much in this project because I knew I was going to use probably acetate on the front, and I use a lot of metallics in this project, foundry wax and gilding wax, things like that. So a little bit of shine from the stickers doesn't bother me all too much. I feel like it's worth it with the translucency and the beautiful details of these stickers. I don't know if you noticed, but I only cut half of the back off on that sticker because I wanted the sticker to stick on the paper, but I didn't remove the backing on anything that stuck over the edge of the picture. I hope that makes sense, just so that it had more strength. Now I want to create the back cover and shore up shore up that first collage by gluing the back page to that back fly sheet, and it works perfectly. And now I'm going to start building another page in the journal. And what I'm pointing out to you is that this is a rough journal. It is broken in so many places. It really needs to be mended. So I'm going to take some of the excess glue that I had from spreading it around on that back page, and I'm just going to put down, kind of shore up some of those bigger cracks so that I can move forward and I'm not going to damage the book any further. So now that those bigger rips are, reinforced, I'm going to start with basic collaging again. And I also take some of the stickers and I'm using them to also reinforce those rips. The nice thing about the stickers is that they have, they're made out of like a plastic, which is pretty sturdy. So if I can have the stickers overlap a little bit on some of those cracks, that's really going to help make those areas of the photo album a little bit stronger. So I'm just, trying to figure out which berries and natural elements are going to really enhance this picture. I like having things, since the woodland fairy is looking up, I like placing things up in the same direction she's looking. On the back side of this page, it was pretty weak from where the image had been ripped out. So I cut a piece of card just off the back of a notebook, and I placed that inside in order to fill the gap where the picture used to sit that was feeling a little wonky. And I'm just, reinforcing it with glue and sort of building back some of those areas that, aren't really in great shape. And I've realized that in order to cover the areas where the pictures were ripped out, in many places I can make these little window sills, which are just taking card and covering them in beautiful paper. And by putting them at the base of some of these pictures, it frames the picture really nice. It gives a nice little three-dimensional element, and it hides some of that damage. I'm also going to take some of this metallic wrapping paper, and I'm going to cover that cardboard piece of chipboard that you saw me put in for support. I'm tracing the shape from the outside on the other side just so that I can kind of get the right dimensions. It's going to be a little fiddly to get it completely to fit perfect. And maybe what I should have done in hindsight is cover that piece of cardboard before I placed it in the photo album. There's always steps that when I look back, I say, I should have done this first before it would have made my life easier. But when you're going into a project and you're just winging it, sometimes you just can't see around all the corners. And that's what's really great about making a video like this, is that hopefully I can show you things that I might have done differently that will save you a little bit of time. In the end, I'm not unhappy with how it came out. It just probably took me a little bit longer. But that's okay. I don't mind time in my studio. And when I'm creating on a slow, comfortable level, it's all enjoyable. So again, you can cover that piece of cardboard first, which would make the job of the fiddly part I'm doing now would already be done. And you could work easily on your desk and then just slide it in and glue it. So lesson learned, and we will move on from there. So as I finish putting this frame in, I just want to say that I really appreciate when companies reach out to me to do reviews of their products, but I want you to know that I will always be very honest about the reviews, because as somebody who purchases things, I don't want to be told something is worth it and then get it and feel like it's not worth it. In regards to these stickers, they're not the cheapest stickers out there, but they are really beautiful, and the details are excellent. The colors are excellent. The quality is really good. Like I said, my biggest issue with them is that it is challenging to get them off of the paper sometime. And one of the packs, the cutting wasn't lined up quite right. It didn't affect how I used them, and I didn't feel it was a problem. But I'm just going to put those out there because I want to be completely transparent. See what I did there? So you're seeing me place more and more of the stickers. And again, what I really love about using these stickers is that when you're making a tunnel book, it's very hard to fussy cut really, really perfectly. And these translucent stickers allow me to layer all sorts of twigs and berries and ferns and mushrooms, and I didn't have to cut anything out. And I think they layer so great. I am really going to be using them for more three-dimensional work projects, and I could really see them on specimen cards. They would be really excellent, and they do disappear a lot more than you would think, especially depending on what you're putting them on. When you're looking at them in normal light, I don't feel like they stand out all that much. Because they do have a little bit of an area around them, that's what stands out, but the sticker themselves are very similar to like a washi tape consistency. So now that I'm putting in the stickers on this level and building up the picture, I'm not going to finish off the collage. You're going to see that I continue to move on to other pages, and I don't necessarily finish the page before I move on. And the reason I'm doing that is because at this stage, I want to build the tunnel more than I'm interested in finishing the pages. I want to make sure that the tunnel is strong, that the pieces that I'm laying on each page enhance the level below without obscuring it. So in other words, if I put a mushroom and it's sticking out, I don't want it to cover the leaf that I put below it. And I don't want the flower to hide the mushroom that hides the berry. You know what I mean? I want to stagger them so that you can see all the different layers. And even if tiny bits of them overlap, you get a real effective three-dimensional effect. So at this point, it's really about using the stickers to layer the illusion. And then I know I can go back into the book and finish the collage part. And now I'm going to be on the actual outside cover, which in this particular case is just another page. And I thought about whether or not I was going to put acetate in the window as I was choosing my stickers and trying to make sure that the top window was really beautiful and had really nice images. I was also thinking to myself whether or not I wanted to just leave it as is. But because there's so many layers of stickers and because it is an open hole, I decided I will put acetate in there to protect it and to make the outside cover a little bit more of a cover and more like a window looking inside. I have to say that having a curated set that has 6 packages of stickers was really great because I'm going to be honest, when it comes to when I'm purchasing new ephemera, I'm very conservative, and I don't know that I would have chosen 6 packages, but the fact that 6 packages come together and they all build off of each other was a game changer when I was making this book because I had so many colors and images to choose from, and they all really worked together really well. It was really a treat. So now that I'm finishing up putting the stickers on the cover, and I think I've pretty much covered the area with leaves and berries and mushrooms, and it looks the way I want to look, I'm going to add the acetate in, and I'm going to do that from the back side. I'm going to load it in as if it was a photograph in the same space that the photograph was in, and then I will secure it down with some glue, and I'll make one of those little windowsills for it so that it won't go moving. And I think actually what I decided to do is, I don't know if you know this, but glue and acetate are really hard. It makes a mess, and sometimes the glue, depending on what's in it, can eat through the acetate. So I will use double-sided tape to put the acetate down. And I also don't have to risk getting glue on the acetate. One of the other little tips I have is after you're done working, anytime you're using acetate, you're going to get fingerprints on it, and it might end up looking a little cloudy just because you've been working with glue and tape and, you've been making a project. When you're all done, you can take a cotton ball with some alcohol on it. I used the 50% alcohol because it was a little bit gentler, and I was able to get my acetate crystal clear again once the project was finished. So all you're seeing me do right now is take double-sided tape to put the acetate down, and then I'm going to go in with art glitter glue and try to repair some of those cracks and rips in the book. So now my tunnel is built, and I'm super happy with how it came out. And now I can concentrate more on the inside of the book and finishing it off with details. So I've decided on the right-hand side, all my right-hand side pages are going to be those simple collage and all of the tunnel elements. And of course, my beautiful woodland nymph showing through. But on the left-hand side, I've decided to cover each left-hand page with a very simple, pretty paper that looks a little vintagey or looks a little bit more like it's the time period would go in an album like that. And my goal is to simply put down a page, make sure that window shines through correctly, maybe put a windowsill in if the damage is a little bit strong, and leave it simple, 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 so that I can journal on that area. This is a little trick I've learned, I think, in kindergarten on how to find places to cut that will match up with open areas. And that's just to take a pencil and try to find the edge of something on the reverse side simply by scribbling over it so that you can cut it out and it will match up. Now, again, if we revisit things I should have done to make this project easier, before I did any work, it would have been easier to just trace those window holes on all the papers I chose. If I had known exactly how this project was going to go, I could have pre-selected my papers and already traced their windows onto the back side so that I didn't have to do that. And since this is my first project, I'm totally giving myself a pass on that. But moving forward, that will be on my notes if I ever do this kind of book again, is that I will pre-select the papers and do all of that kind of prep work ahead of time, because that will make my life so much easier. Usually when we look at a journal, we have these big full pages we can journal on. What I really love about this design is that I'll be able to make notes in journal on those little thin areas around the photograph hole. I think that's kind of cool and unique. Maybe I can put quotes there. Maybe I can put dates there. I'm not 100% sure how I'll journal on that side, but I like the idea that it's different from a normal journal. I think one of the things you're seeing here is that I'm trying to make sure that the edge of this window lines up perfectly, because it's just not lining up. And again, I'm just going to be fiddly with a lot of these pages because I'm cutting the window after they've already been, decorated with stickers and things. And another little hint is, if you can't quite get it right, you can take your gilding wax, like I'm doing here, and you can make a big, thick gilding wax border around it, so that if it isn't exactly perfect, it's going to look great because just that little gilding area will shine through and it will look like a very intentional border. And now that I have my window cut out and ready, I'm just going to glue that page on. I inked around the edge just to give it a little bit more depth and to give it a frame, and I'm just going to line it up and then use my bone folder to get a really nice clean adhesion. And now I'm going to go page by page and put a plain paper on the left side and then do simple collage on the right side. So I'm using some Tim Holtz tissue paper here. I absolutely love this particular one. It can be used in so many different ways. And I'm just deciding to make collages over weak areas in the paper. Places that had been ripped and had weak areas or little cracks that you could see. Originally, I really liked that this area was all open and clean for journaling, but then I really do want the integrity of the book to hold up. These pages lasted, 143 years? I would love for this book to last just as long. I know that might be a little bit of a hope since people don't appreciate handmade paper items anymore, but I'm hoping if I put the love and detail into it, it'll stick around for a few more generations. So I'm going to take my time to really reinforce any spots that are weak. So now I'm on this page. I had put a little bit of washi around in between the stickers, and now I'm just taking a stamp and I'm just adding a little writing, and I'm taking a little bit of water and sort of blending in parts of the stamp that I maybe don't want the words to show as well. Again, I'm really looking for a clean design that isn't too busy, that has a lot, has dimension, but I don't want so much competition. I want that center area to shine. I want those elements that I put in to shine. So now that you have the idea about how this book was made, let's take it outside and I'll give you an in-depth look of how it came out. I'm really, really proud of it, and I think you're going to like it. So here she is. Here's my Tunnel Book journal with an acetate cover. I have plain paper on the left and windowsills, and then all these different details with simplistic collage. I have the stickers, I have metallic paper, I have stamping, washi tape. I have different papers that are collaged into this book. I love this journaling area on the left. I think it's so different. I love being challenged by just taking a little bit of collage, using maybe some paint splatters or some foundry wax, some gilding wax, and making a nice clean design, but it has so much going on. That strong center image that I got from my friend Kimberly Dodge at Dodges and Daisies, to me, it makes the whole book. Like, if I had a picture of a tree back there, it might be pretty, but it wouldn't be this effective. I think choosing a really strong image really helps. And I used some scraps from my desk, some postage stamps. You know, there wasn't this massive amount of materials I needed for this. And I think these photo albums, sometimes they can be pricey, but boy, there's so many projects that you can make with them. And I love taking this old photo album and reimagining it. It was such a joy to work on, and it was even made more fun by the gift of the stickers from Grabie, so I thank them for that. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it inspired you. I hope it gave you an idea for a tunnel book that is really easy to do if you have stickers or pre-cuts like this, and I hope you'll give it a try. It was super fun. I loved sharing it with you, and I hope that you will tune in again to see another project that comes from my imagination and from my soul. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you really soon. Bye.